Welcome to another episode of Silence is Golden. Today we will be talking about mastering the follow-up here from Studio A. We'll also be talking about how Time magazine was recently acquired. We're talking about Gutenberg rolling out into WP.com. And we'll also be talking about the rich from Silicon Valley, Doomsday preppers flying to NZ. And we also have a very special little video clip premiere. Stay with us.
And we've changed configuration yet again. And yet again, we're going to talk about the set here on Silence is Golden and our new haircuts. And the new haircuts. Yeah. We're seeing the same barber, are we?
I don't think so. I think you broke up with my barber, didn't you?
I did. I went and saw your other mate.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah.
I
went and saw him. Well, I don't know. I reckon maybe, just because...
They say you can't polish it, but they did a good job.
Well, just because you can drink after midday doesn't mean you should, especially if you're cutting people's hair with sharp blades. It's not the best haircut I've ever had. But hey, from where you're sitting, you can't tell, can you? Also, today, coming up on the episode, we're going to talk about the new, the different set, the different set and why we have a different set and where we're going with this iteration. But also, I'm going to draw on my iPad with an Apple Pencil.
Yep. Bit of colouring in today.
That's going to be fantastic. I'm going to colour in with the crayons, with the digital crayons.
Yeah. It's insanely fun, isn't it? It's so addictive if you haven't done it before.
It is.
As part of a presentation. So I'm jealous of how much you're going to have fun.
It is. And the reason that we're sitting next to each other again is because, frankly, I just can't get enough of him. And we found that sitting opposite was just too twisty. It was too twisty for us to actually look at the camera.
Not particularly ergonomic.
And I can tell you this now, these microphones are going. They're giving me the shits. There's too much infrastructure going on here. And we're going to go back to the lapels so that we're a little more free in our movement. We can kind of do this kind of stuff and, and not be kind of trapped with this thing here. This is great for podcasting, but not great for sitting next to Bozo here and talking. So we're still going to use these for the podcast. So it's been a successful experiment. But we are going to, and also in other news, we're actually going to be off the air for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, heading off to tropical Thailand. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, the truth is we've just run out of shit to say, and so we're going to Thailand.
Is that possible? Do you think that could actually happen?
Well, let me rephrase that. We've run out of valuable things to say. We've run out of things to say that are of any interest to anyone whatsoever. So we're going to Thailand for 2 weeks to regroup and brainstorm some ideas. And when we come back, I don't think we'll be using these things. We'll go back to the lapel mics. Anyway, tonight on The Boring Show, Troy explains the next iteration of the Silence is Golden set. Yep. But hang around because I'm going to draw on my iPad very soon. Hopefully with an Apple Pencil and not a permanent marker.
It's easy to get those mixed up sometimes. Doesn't quite wash out.
What's on the agenda for today?
Well, there's some things that happened in the past week. I think we should get kicked off with that.
Stuff that happened.
Has that always been a thing? The countdown that said like switching to camera A in 5, 4, 3.
What
was that?
I have no idea what you're looking at.
Yeah, cool. It's where it says program in the top.
Oh yeah.
There.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
right.
Cool. Anyway, pay attention next time.
Okay.
Cool. So Gutenberg, more Gutenberg news. Gutenberg is rolling out on WordPress.com. There's quite a few comments about people just not enjoying that at all, basically. So this one comes from WP Tavern. It's slowly rolling out. They're just testing like at what speed and capacity they should be actually rolling this out to. Cool. Time magazine was also acquired for $190 million, which I thought was not much at all, to Salesforce founder Mark something.
Benioff.
There you go. Yeah. $190 million.
$190 million.
To purchase a media publishing company.
Yeah, well, it's all about eyeballs, isn't it? And page views and advertising revenue, and there's no links.
Right.
That's what Max is saying. There are no links.
Yeah, thanks. That makes me feel
No
good.
one did the links in the lower thirds.
No, I did, but obviously something went wrong there.
Oh, there we go.
That's weird.
Oh.
It's there.
Okay.
Anyway, that happens. That's some stuff that happened.
Something just broke.
Yeah. Something broke a little bit. That's all right. Also, from Bloomberg, I saw this article that I thought was awesome, and it was the super rich of Silicon Valley have a doomsday escape plan. They have stepped up investment in New Zealand by buying these huge bunkers, and they fly them to New Zealand and put them 10 feet underground, like these full compound houses that they can fly in 10 hours in a jet over to. But this particular article is awesome because it's like a combination of a comic strip and a blog post. It's just like really engaging.
Why can I? This is a thing, right? This isn't a thing in Australia, right? But I remember Ryan Dice talking about this at Traffic and Conversion Summit in Sydney, where I spoke actually at that conference. Let me just pick that name.
Yeah, I was going to say.
When I spoke at Traffic and Conversion Summit in Sydney a couple of years ago with Ryan Dice, he was talking about the Doomsday end of lifers, end of the worlders. What are they called? End of lifers or whatever? End of the world?
End of world. Doomsday preppers.
Survivors, the
it?
survivalists. Yeah. And this is not a thing, I don't think, in Australia, is it?
Not so much.
No. Why is it such a thing in America? A lot of Americans are absolutely convinced that the world is going to explode or something awful is going to happen, and they're going to go and live in a bunker in New Zealand. And so they stock up with, like, you know, food for I don't know how long, but enough to maybe survive for a little while in a bunker in New Zealand.
Yep.
What is the big fear? That's what do you know that we don't? That's what I want to know. What do you know in America that we don't? And why is the survivalist movement so big over there? And why isn't it? Is there something that we should be doing?
Yeah.
Did we miss a memo?
We're quite disconnected from the world geographically. And
yes.
New Zealand, even more so. It's a bit of a Switzerland country.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and pull this up.
Safe zone.
Pull the Facebook up here on the iPad so I can see any comments that are happening, because I really would like to know what it is that we're missing in terms of the survivalist stuff. So, did that go up or down? We are too short of 13,000. We are too short of 13,000. Yep. That would be very, very exciting. If you are watching this and you don't like us, I mean, I'm talking about digitally liking us on Facebook. Please like us. Even if you hate us, you know, just like us anyway so that we can get that to 13,000. And then you can unlike us.
Tell someone in your family to like us real quick.
Yeah. That would be
good. Just for the duration of the show. Be much appreciated.
And tell us under this video why the survivalist movement is so big in the States and not here in Australia. What are we missing? Have we missed a memo? What do you know that we don't? And let us know so that we can prepare and so that we too can go and sort out bunkers in New Zealand.
Yeah. So one of the other things that we're doing in Thailand is, so we've got 1 week with the team then the other week with the Mavericks. So we've got the mastermind that's coming up. And we actually have a bit of a clip from last time we did in San Diego. So let's take a peek at that while we have a look at the comments.
I'm in the program of WP Elevation already, I think 3 or 4 years now. And I also went to a mastermind in Philadelphia around 2 years ago. And there I got so much value that I doubled my business. And that's why when he started the Mavericks program, I knew I just had to join. And that's why I'm in San Diego now. And it's lovely here. This time I joined because I wanted to change what I was doing. I wanted to change my company and change my direction. And that's what's actually going on here, and now I find out that this spot I want to be is in e-learning and LMS systems, learning management systems with WordPress, and it's awesome that I now know where to go because now I know how to move forward. This is for my company youth to be able to do this and to talk among your peers, and just with a few words everybody understands what you're talking about. So it's so easy to have a conversation and to learn from each other, and also to teach each other. That's the fun thing, because when other people are stuck and you just talk to them, then you know often the solution, you can tell them and share. And it's not that then you have superpower, but just because you understand what they are going through, and then you can share your knowledge in that. And another thing, I have a roadblock, and then the same person can teach me because they already passed that roadblock. So it's really so awesome. You help each other, and Troy is there, and he also has awesome knowledge. It's it's great.
There we go. Paul Cowan from the Netherlands out there in San Diego at our recent Mavericks Club event back in June. A couple of days before my little boy's birthday, that was. In fact, I was back in the country for 36 hours, just long enough to celebrate his birthday with him. And then I pissed off again up to the Gold Coast for another event.
Lovely.
So we're doing that again in Thailand. in a couple of weeks. Actually, we're leaving this Friday morning. We're spending a week in Thailand with the entire team, doing a company retreat and a bit of bonding and team building. And then the following week, we are out there with the Mavericks club, which is going to be very, very exciting indeed.
Yeah, can't believe it's already been 3 months since we saw them last. It's going to be awesome.
Cray.
Yeah.
Cray.
Yeah, absolutely can't believe it. Yeah. So we have a little saying here, and that's when the we comes out, and that's when we get a little bit excited about something we've seen over the past week. So let's check it out.
What made the we come out?
That's a new bumper. Yes! Great work, by the way, on Ben upstairs.
Yeah.
Good work, Ben. Thanks for putting that together, because that was in my inbox to do that bumper.
For how long, you think?
Well, it would have been April next year, I reckon, before I got around to that. And Ben just said, hey, do you want me to build this bumper? Can you give me a voiceover? I said, thank you. And
Getting it done.
there you go. He just did it. Awesome.
Nice.
Loving it. So what's made the we come out for you, mate?
I've been trying out this design tool called Figma, and what happened was I opened up the program. It's free to get started with. It does vectors. It's like kind of like Sketch, and I clicked on the sharing button to you can apparently collaborate on a live design. So I clicked on share, it opened in the browser, and then I was able to co-design with myself, and I was like, this is just absolutely redonkulous to be able to collaborate live without having to pass files back and forth. So that totally made the week come out this week. That was absolutely amazing. Check it out, figma.com or WP. Our links aren't working. wplinks.io/Figma. You can go and check it out.
It is not a Figma of your imagination.
Oh, nice. We should have a little thing that goes, nice one, Dad.
Dad joke Dave. Here we go. James Person says, watch The Walking Dead for 9 seasons.
That'll do it to you.
Who needs a bunker well prepared?
Who needs a bunker well prepared?
I don't know. I still don't get it. I mean, the thing is, if shit that bad is going to go down,
James. Yeah.
How is a bunker? I don't know. I don't want to be in a bunker.
Like zombies and apocalyptic things can't dig. Is that the thing?
I don't know. I'm not.
That's their only weakness.
Educate me, enlighten me. I don't get it.
No,
not sure.
James has very strong food Instagramming game. Like, if you're ever checking out, if everyone wants to stalk James Person, he'll make you hungry.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
By the way, just to loop back on something you said a minute ago, that you were collaborating on the design with yourself.
Yeah. It can happen sometimes. It's a real world use case, right?
Right.
No. That's it's a thing. Do
you have a conversation with yourself? Do you leave comments for yourself? Hey, Simon, I really like what you've done here. Thank you, Simon. Do you have any feedback on the copywriting? No, Simon, literally. I think you've got it covered.
Almost literally.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, testing purposes, of course. Yeah.
Loco.
Someone's lost it. Yeah, we definitely need a little soundboard.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Where's the goat?
Where's the goat?
The sheep.
It's a sheep.
The shoat.
All right. There it is. There's the sheep, the goat, the geep, the shoat. We're not sure what it is.
Paying attention.
You
That's
tell us
what goes down.
All right. What else is going on? Should we have a look? I want to draw on the iPad. Who wants to see me draw on the iPad?
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's draw on the iPad, and let's tie this into the gold nugget.
Time to dig into the gold nugget.
Now, the truth is, this has actually not got much to do with the gold nugget, but I just want to draw on the iPad.
Yep, fair enough.
And show off.
Yep.
So I think Max has got it here. I think he can share the screen here. We're going to share my iPad screen. This is very fancy indeed. Look at this. Oh, no.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No, hang on. That's not good.
Yep. Who wants to join Ray Melodoni's personal meeting
Let
room?
me just try this again. Here we go. I'll hold that down. I'll do that, and I'll start the broadcast. And it starts in about now, and that means it should now be sharing to Zoom. Yep, beautiful. Okay, there we go. Look at this. Bring it up. Bring it up, bring it up. There we go. Look at that, lovely. The lovely bell curve there. Now, what I want to do here is I want to walk you through the 4 stages of a freelance business, right? And this is the way that we kind of describe the journey of our customers that go through our programs here, right? So first of all, when you're first starting off, you are what we call grounded, and we do talk a lot in aviation terms here at WP Elevation, so please, you'll have to pardon the metaphors, but you are what we call grounded, and grounded means that you typically not quite off the ground. You're just kind of doing some prep work, and it's very easy to get stuck here, right? And the reason is there seems to kind of be this line here that keeps you here, and this line basically is your fear. Fear of anything, imposter syndrome, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of pricing, whatever it is, right? And that's what keeps you grounded. Now, some of the ways that we measure where you are is we look at your recurring revenue, we look at your autopilot, in other words, how much of your business runs without you, and we look at your turbulence, that is how much of your time you spend putting out fires or dealing with stuff that's broken. So once the next stage from grounded is what we call taxing. And what we do really well here at WP Elevation is we help people go from grounded to taxing, right? It's a pretty simple leap to make. And one of the things that you basically, it's about overcoming your fear, and it's about sort of getting the plane to taxi off down the runway, getting ready to take off. Once you're taxing, there seems to be this hard line here, and the thing that keeps you from going to the next level is the myths in the marketplace, which we'll talk about in a second, right? Typically speaking, let me just have a look at some numbers here. Typically speaking, if you are grounded, you are building websites for, less than $2,000. You've got maybe 10% recurring, and you are dealing with lots of turbulence, right? So your turbulence is like 90%. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on the screen. Perfect. Once you are taxing, you might be building websites for less than 5K. You might have about 30% recurring, and your turbulence is probably still greater than 50%. Now, here, this is called liftoff. And liftoff, bear with me with the analogies here for a second. Liftoff is a pretty cool place to be, because liftoff, you're typically building websites for, 5 to 15. Your recurring is, 50% or more, and your turbulence is less than 50%. And to make this leap here, you basically have to start believing the truths, or you have to acknowledge the truths in the marketplace, which I'll talk about in a sec. Now, what happens is when you lift off and when you actually the business starts to take off, this is a pretty good place to be, and then people hit what we call the good enough line. Yeah? And they kind of go, well, this is good enough. I'm pretty happy, I'm making good money, things are pretty good. However, if Steve Jobs had just kind of said, things are good enough, he would have stopped at the iPod and he would have invented the iPhone. And of course, we know what happened there. The iPhone fundamentally changed the way that we communicate. So the idea is to, once you lift off, is to then continue the journey and elevate. And elevate is really where you start to have a lot of fun, because you're typically doing websites for, 15K plus, you've got 70 plus recurring, and your turbulence is less than 10% turbulence, right? Now, some of the myths that are going to keep you here are things like, well, no one will ever spend more than $5,000 on a website. Now, that's something that you might believe, or nobody's going to spend $5,000 on a corporate video package. That's something that you might believe, but it's a myth, because we know that it's actually just not true. There are plenty of companies that spend a lot more than $5,000 on corporate video packages and websites, right? So the truth is they will, but you don't believe that right now because you haven't experienced it. So you're subscribing to the myth. The way to get over that line is to start acknowledging the truths and surround yourself with people who have been there and done it and can show you what the truth looks like. There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is that once you start to elevate, I just want to acknowledge Mavericks here for a second, because once you start to elevate, the next step is, and we know that success doesn't look like a straight line, that success kind of does this J-curve thing like this, right? So once you start to elevate, if you really want to take off and become what we call a maverick, which is someone who's a free thinking, a little bit rebellious, they make their own decisions in the business, they operate without fear, and mavericks are what we call fiercely independent freelancers, yeah? And everyone's kind of buying into this freedom lifestyle thing that's been around on the internet for the last 5 or 10 years. People have been selling freedom and selling lifestyle businesses. And what we've learned over the last 5 years of working with people in our program is that freedom is a great aspiration, but you can't achieve freedom unless you are fiercely independent. So fierce independence gives you the choices in your business to structure the business in a way that you can achieve freedom. Right at this point, I would usually play a video from Robert Simmons, who is kind of our poster boy of someone who is fiercely independent. He's spending next year living at Disney World with his wife while his processors and his team run the business and keep the business running along, almost on autopilot with very little turbulence and great recurring revenue. So he is what we call someone who has been through this journey, gone from grounded when he first started joining with us. He was working a full-time job. He got to taxing, he started to get the business to lift off, and then he elevated. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you and draw on the iPad. And if that is of any use to anyone whatsoever, would love to hear a comment. Love to see a comment under the video. Tell us how you found that. What do you think about that?
Well, I found the myths very fascinating, that it's like the things that you'll just believe in. I believe that people won't pay more than $2,000 for a website. We see a lot of stuff like that. On the old internet machine, people saying like, oh, no one's going to do that. $20,000 proposal, like it doesn't even make sense. Who's going to actually do that? But there's evidence that people have, and there's a lot of people in the community that have done websites for a lot more than that. So just believing the myths doesn't mean that it's true.
We had a Maverick close a website for $30,000 last week. 30 grand.
Yep.
There you go. It happens all the time. It's just what you believe. I said a long time ago, success is not based on what you do, it's based on what you believe. Your belief system has a direct correlation to your success. And look at that, Max just very casually faded that yellow light out, which was lovely.
Woo.
Nice
and this is based
Max.
on evidence too. This isn't just belief like, oh, I believe and therefore I can, which is, that's something I like to subscribe to as well. It's actually based on evidence of things in the real world.
It is, yeah.
Right? So check your beliefs if they're actually based on evidence, or if you're just like, no, I just believe that because I feel like it.
James Person says, very nice. Cheers, Troy. Thank you, James. Hey, so leave us a comment under the video. Tell us what you liked about that model. Tell us what made sense, what resonated. Tell us if you think it was a bunch of horse shit. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Bunch of horse shit.
Yeah. So anyway, that has nothing to do with the gold nugget today.
That's a bit of, there's some nuggets in there. Far out.
Yeah. One of the things that you can do in order to go from taxing to liftoff is to master the art of the follow-up.
Oh, well done, mate.
There we go. Nice segue. Just gave you that one. Peter Moriarty's watching. Hey, Peter, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talk about quite a lot at WP Elevation is the anti-follow-up, right? So when it comes to following up, you can come off a bit desperate, like, oh, have you seen my proposal? Da-da-da. Can I please get in touch with you? Please, please, please.
What you think about that?
Exactly. But it's not all about that. Following up is not all about being very desperate, like an ex-girlfriend who's saying, have you checked my voicemail for that text that I left you about the Facebook message, about the Instagram post I sent you? So you don't want to be that girl. Don't want to be that girl, right? Okay, so following up without being desperate, it's about building relationships to close deals, pretty much. So what are some of the things that we can do when it comes to following up?
You know, my wife and I have been married for 3 years now.
I thought that was going to be a long silence.
3.5 years. Actually, we've been married for 4.5 years.
Oh, it's my anniversary.
Whoops. We've been married for 4.5 years, and we've been engaged for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
She still will not admit on Facebook that we're married.
Might have to follow that one up.
She still will not admit on Facebook. On Facebook, I said, we are married, right? And she said, yep, still pending.
Yep.
So what's going to happen? And right, when we got engaged, right, I said, I engaged to Amy, and she said, yeah, still pending. And then like 3 years
later. She wrote
later,
that in the comments?
No, it just says still. Facebook just says still pending. Still waiting for her to acknowledge yes.
She's just not much
I look like a crazy stalker.
She's just not much of a Facebook user in that kind of a way.
No, she's not. But I look like a crazy stalker because I've said that I'm engaged to her, and then 3 years later, I was at a conference, and she just kind of went, "Oh yeah, we are engaged. We've been engaged for 3 years." And then it appeared on my timeline, and everyone at the conference was congratulating me. Oh, you got engaged! yeah. I was like, yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah. And now she still won't acknowledge that we're married.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway,
at least one of you is married.
The point is, sometimes you can seem a little bit desperate and a little bit needy. I've reconciled the fact that she won't publicly acknowledge that we're married, even though we have a child together, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You're just trying to put all the things in place. Like, what's it going to take?
Yeah.
I'll put it on Facebook. Right. Okay.
right.
We've had a child together. Come on. Like, what is it? We've got photos.
Yeah.
No, she's still not feeling it.
Well, she's been on the podcast. I mean, what else? What else do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been on the podcast. Does
Yeah.
that help?
She was on our podcast. I don't know.
seal the deal.
Oh, clearly it didn't. Yeah.
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 so-
More Cohen says smart woman. And Kylie Martin says, Amy is one grounded woman. Yes, she is. Matt Robinson says, it makes great sense to me. Some people I know really need to join WP Elevation. Well, then tell them, Matt, that they really need to join WP Elevation. In fact, if you tell them, we'll pay you a spotter's fee. It's a true story. If they join, of course. If you tell them when they join, we'll pay you a spotter's fee.
There you go.
For recommending them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
Everybody wins,
back
right?
to the follow-up.
yeah.
Back to the follow-up thing.
Can you explain the anti-follow-up? Why anti?
So anti-follow-up is so it's like, I always liken it to dating. You don't want to go out on a date with someone and then call them the next day and say, hey, just wondering how last night was. Did you like that restaurant that I chose? And did I use my cutlery okay and in the right order? And that movie I took you to, was it a good movie? And did you have a good time? And that's a bit desperate. And we've all counselled our friends about not being the first one to call because you lose all your power.
Yeah.
So the anti-follow-up sequence is a mindset around what to do once you've submitted a proposal to someone. You don't call them up and ask them, what do you think about the proposal? Because the truth is they think it's too bloody expensive and they want a discount. That's the only conversation they want to have, right? So the idea is that you continue to educate them and nurture the relationship by being helpful, positioning yourself as the authority and someone who knows what you're talking about, and continue to educate them with drip emails or social posts, or someone asked about Facebook ads, we'll talk about in a moment, until they come back to you and say, all right, we're ready to move on this, and you are clearly the expert because you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, it's right. It's like filling in the void that's in their head, the conversations they're having about whether or not you're a good fit for them. It's drip feeding value and always like booking in the next appointment. I think that's one of the biggest changes that I made in my business when it comes to following up. Wasn't just with the anti-follow-up sequence after proposals. It was just always securing the next meeting, always doing that, and providing value wherever I could instead of being needy and desperate all the time.
That's right. And you don't have to automate this. You can if you're a clever pants like Peter Moriarty who's watching and you want to automate this in Entreport or Confusionsoft or Cluster Funnels or whatever other program you use. But you don't have to automate it. You can just stick it in Gmail as a canned response and set yourself a calendar reminder to follow up every 2 or 3 days. But it's the message and the way that you follow up that really matters. There's a couple of things. One, that you actually follow up consistently and regularly, which builds trust. And then also the content of those follow-ups should be helpful and not needy. So it's all about give.
Yeah.
It's all about adding value.
Yeah. An example would be check out this SEO checklist from Moz. It's one of the best that we've seen. I hope you find that useful. If you're sending that to a particular prospect or someone you've sent a proposal to, that's a good way of just sending value, staying top of mind without asking them anything about, have you seen my proposal? What do you think of the pricing? Yes, I'll give a discount before you ask. It's just about leading with value as much as possible. And you can do this before you send the proposal. This can be as part of prospecting with clients. This can be just relationship building, just generally adding some goodwill to the old marketplace. So there you go.
Stainer Newman, who's watching on Facebook, says, I'm at taxing at the moment. I enjoy working with the small business owner. I would have to change my clientele. And then, of course, I can't read the rest of the comment because the Facebook engagement buttons are in the way on the iPad. And yes, that probably true. It's probably true, Stainer. You probably do need to change your clientele.
Well, Stainer says, would I have to change my clientele from the small business owner to corporations to start liftoff?
Well, not necessarily. You just need...
Troy Dean has laughed on it.
Yeah,
is that what you've done? You just laughed at it.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get rid of the thing, you see. So let me take the laugh off and just put the light. There we go. You may need to change your clientele, or you may just need to change the conversation, change the narrative you're having with your existing clients. See, I believe that people will find a way to pay for things if they value them.
Yeah.
If they don't value them, they won't find a way to pay for them if they don't value them, but they will find a way to pay for things that they value. So your job is to communicate the value to them, and then they will find a way to pay for it. If somebody says to you, I can't afford that, there are two reasons. One, they actually can't afford it, in which case you should just move on because we're not a community service. Two, they can't see the value in it, in which case you need to demonstrate the value and highlight the value and communicate the value so that they can see that they're getting good value for money. Yep. Ideally, you want to qualify their budget before you go too far down that rabbit hole and waste a lot of time with them by just saying to them straight up, hey, look, our project's typically between 15 and 40 grand. If you're in the ballpark, then let's have a conversation. If your face is just melted off in shock, then maybe we're not a good fit for each other.
Yeah, exactly. If you're picking your jaw up off the floor, then maybe I should step out of this room. Exactly. James Person says, how do you assess? He actually said asses, but he meant
how do you assess what the business owners will find useful?
I always find asking them is a good way to get started. Like, what would you like out of the project? What would be useful for you in the next 12 months? And then they'll tell you. Yeah. And then you can drip feed them content related to that.
There's a great question, Dan Sullivan. By the way, Sarah Moore. Hey, love some Troy Dean voiceover voice in my life. Nice to see you both. Hey, Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you as well. There's a great question by Dan Sullivan, James. It's called the Dan Sullivan Question. He wrote a whole book on it. It's a whole book about one question, really. And the question is, I'm going to spoil it for you so you don't need to buy the book. The question is, if in 12 months' time, this is a successful project, what would need to happen for you to be really happy with your progress? And then you get them to tell you as many details as possible about what success looks like for them. And then you just reiterate that back to them. Okay, so you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do that. Yes.
Anything else?
Anything else? No, that's all good. We've got everything? Great. So it sounds like you need to do this, and this. Does that sound good? Yeah. Does this sound like a good plan? Yes. Would you like my help implementing it? Yes. Great. Let's go. My projects are typically between 15 and 40 grand. How much help would you need? How much support would you like from me? At 40 grand, you get full support. At 15 grand, you get this much support. It's a very simple conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you think about that?
I love it. I love it, mate. One question. What's the book called?
One question. It's called the Dan Sullivan Question.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yep.
There you go. All right, we've had some more questions. Speaking of questions, we've got questions in the community. And I think we should check them out and help some people.
Let's get unstuck.
Love the wah-wah guitar in that little stinger there.
Oh yeah, you dig it? The little countdown's great. I love it.
Maybe I should do some background wah guitar while you answer
some stuff.
Yeah,
go for it, right? Cowlin O'Connor says, curious, has anyone run the anti-follow-up via Facebook ads instead or as well as email? Follow people around and deliver value on Facebook as well as email? Or would that just be spooky? If I did a video that said, hi, anti-follow-up sequence here, would that be weird? Callan, I think some people would find that weird, but I think you should do it, and I think it would be awesome. Something that we're working on at the moment, Troy is heavily working on this with Ray, is called the ad Hydra, the Facebook Hydra.
The Hydra.
Yeah, which is really similar to what you're talking about, but it takes it to the absolute next level with ads and value, and we have been putting together quite a bit of content related to this. So you may see this stalking around the internet soon, Callan.
Very targeted ads, courtesy of our good friend Kevin Hutto at Clients Every Day. He's been teaching us the Hydra model, and it's a fantastic Facebook ad campaign, which basically just, I can't believe I'm playing wah-wah guitar in my hands on Facebook here. God, the things you do. And it's a very targeted ad campaign to make sure that you are own. And basically what it is all about is about giving value up front, just offering value, and then finding the people who are really interested in what it is you're talking about, because the truth is that most people are not interested in what you're talking about. They're more interested in watching videos of people putting a sheet over their head and pretending that they're disappearing just to freak their dog out. Have you seen that?
I saw the one with the cockatoo.
Oh my God! Awesome. So they're now doing it with younger siblings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there are families putting this is traumatizing. There are families putting a towel over like a 3-year-old's head, right? And then taking the towel off and pretending that they've disappeared and that they can't see the 3-year-old. And go, oh my God, where have you gone, Ronald? Oh, where's Ronald gone? And there's this one video where the girl who they're pretending has disappeared gets absolutely freaking traumatized and just starts screaming her face off because she thinks her family can't see her and she's invisible. Yeah?
Wow.
Straight into therapy for that little girl, huh?
That's it. Yeah. If you're
Anyway,
going to do that, do it
that's
to
what
someone
you-
else's kids.
That's
not
what
your
you're up
own.
against. That's the kind of competition you're up against online, right? So,
That's it. Set the
you know
bar
what I mean?
pretty high.
So you only want to put an offer in front of someone who is highly, highly targeted and highly interested in what it is you are doing. And the truth is, that's going to be probably less than 1% of the people that see your shit online. I know it's disturbing, isn't it? But that's the truth. So don't waste time trying to get the other 99% to pay attention because they're asleep or watching, disappearing dog videos. You just want to focus on the people who are actually interested in what it is you're doing.
Yeah, but don't let that hold you back from putting some content out there. I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of
you
people
should
make.
let it hold you back.
Is
You should let
absolutely
it hold you back.
let it hold you back.
You should let everything hold you back. Your own fear,
Don't hit the publish button,
self-doubt,
please.
imposter syndrome. You
Yeah.
should let everything hold you
Make
back.
it perfect before you do anything.
That's right.
And if there's anything less than perfect, we just won't accept it.
Correct.
All right? So there you go. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
You have a good time?
I'm having a great time.
So, yeah, we're not going to be live for the next 2 weeks.
That's
'cause
right.
We're going to be in Thailand.
We're going to be in Thailand,
having a
working
good
on my
time.
suntan.
Yeah, we should do a couple of live things anyway.
I think
just
we
to
will.
Talk about how cool
You
we
massaging my feet. You cleaning my villa.
Yeah.
You getting me a drink.
I would never. I can't do that on every episode, but yeah.
We will be in Koh Samui, so we will do some lives from the iPhone over there. But we technically will be off the air for a couple of weeks. Our usual schedule will take a bit of a break while we go and have a company retreat and regroup and reassess and ask ourselves some big questions like why are we here, what is art, and what is the meaning of life.
What does it all mean? What's the point? What is the point of this?
As we watch archive episodes of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and discover that the answer is 42.
Disappointing, I thought.
It is.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. So we'll do some lives while we're over there. And was there anything else on the agenda?
What do you reckon, Max? Max is nodding. There's a thing.
Oh, the tool of the week.
Oh, of course.
Have we got a tool of the week?
Yeah, we do.
Excellent.
Wonder what it is.
Get ready for Tool of the Week.
There it is. Ah, look, the colour is such a nice touch. I still have to give you a big high five for that, Max.
Love the blue light.
So this week's tool of the week is really good emails. I love copying and pasting, and you can copy and paste this link, wplinks.io/really-good-emails. You can check that out. It's some good emails that you can copy and paste from companies about email marketing. So check it out. It's really useful for ideas for mastering the follow-up as well.
Amy King is watching. Hey, Amy, how you doing? Good to see you here. And so is Christian Basilio. Hey, Christian, how are you? Thanks for joining in.
Christian Basilio.
Yeah.
Where do I know that name from?
I
I
don't
think that he helps with Dave Jennings a lot.
Oh, there
with
we go.
Systemology, I believe.
Oh, there we go.
How you doing, Christian?
Yep.
Cool.
Cool. Well, hey, this has been fun. Thank you for joining in. Of course, this is Silence is Golden, the show where we're not really sure what it's all about, but we're here to try and help you in your business or at least give you a laugh and distract you for a few minutes every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, live from Studio A in what used to be the world's most livable city, Melbourne, Australia, before Vienna in Austria overtook us, for which I'm a little bit pissed. 12,999 people like us on Facebook. Check that out. Look at that. 12,999 people like us on Facebook. Can we just get one more like? Can we get one more like to make that tick over to 13,000? There is a 20-second delay between what we say and what they see, so it might not happen before the show's out. But look at that. We're very close to 13,000. And when we started here 10 years ago, we had 9,500. So it's been a slow burn.
It has. It's not very good likes per day.
Hey,
Stat.
and by the way, if you are not in our free Facebook group, you should join. It is called Digital Mavericks. Just go to facebook.com/groups/Digital Mavericks and join the Digital Mavericks Facebook group, where there's about 3,500 entrepreneurs in there talking about running their business. There we go, wplinks.io/FB group. Don't know how that one worked. Fantastic. Go over there and join in the conversation. We do... in fact, I'm doing a live webinar, live training in there in a couple of hours to help you get paid better fees.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And I'm going to draw on my iPad again. James Person says, enjoy Koh Samui, lovely place. It sure is. It's where I had my honeymoon.
Thanks,
it's about
man.
my 5th visit there. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Woo! We made it. We made it.
Hang on.
You can do it
Yeah.
without even looking?
13,000. The look away high five.
Stylish. Buzz.
The look away high
Nailed
five.
it.
Whee!
Straight in the face.
13,000 likes. Look at that. Fantastic. Lucky for some. Thanks for joining in. We'll be back in a few weeks. We'll do some lives from Thailand and keep you up to date. Leave us a comment under this video and tell us we're a bunch of idiots, or what you want to learn next, or what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show, what you'd like to see, and what you'd like to learn. And or if there's anyone that you'd like us to bring in the show and interview. We'll see you again soon. Until then, my name is Troy Dean.
I'm Simon Kelly. Remember, knowledge is power.
And silence is golden.